Alright, anyway, welcome to Big Click Energy. That's the name of my business. It's stupid, but that's what I made up. So, what have I been up to? SDCC 2023 edits, first and foremost. I think I got the Wolverine ones done. And I've slowly but surely been working on some others. Right now I have some stuff to show you, first of all. So, let me open Photoshop. I have some stuff to show you, and I have some questions, because I don't know. Maybe I won't edit all of the ones that I have for this Spider-Man 2099 character, but, oh damn it, my music cut out. I'm doing some that I think, I've done a few, and I think they look good, and then there's others I'm like, I don't know if they look good. I'm not sure. So we'll see. I'll show you what I'm talking about. Music? I'm gonna need you to work now. Is that okay? Can you do that for me? How about that? We'll see how long that lasts. Something's wrong with my... Ugh, that's frustrating. How about that? You know what? I have a fix. Of course it had to happen when I went live. It was working for like the last hour. And then all of a sudden, right now. Of course! Let's see. Easy fix. There. That shouldn't cut out. Alright. So the things that I've been working on. Let's check it out. Is that too loud? It's definitely picking it up. I can see it on the mic. Or in the mixer. Yeah, that's nice. Alright. So, I've been working on the Spider-Man 2099 cosplay, and I have worked a little bit with AI, Firefly, Adobe AI to be precise. And before anyone calls me a scab or anything, it's not that kind of AI. You had to give consent for this one. But I also don't use it to create original pieces. I use it to create a rough draft. I just want to get like the idea out of my head into a visual format, and then I can take that visual format and like basically just create it from scratch, or use what AI gives me as like a first step, and then just like build a bunch of shit on top of it that's custom and done by me. It's hard to explain, but I can show you. So I used AI to kind of give me a cyberpunk city setting, and then I went and found like public domain images of cities and stuff like that. And some of this I showed on my last stream, you know, how like my process. I've been showing you from beginning to end, taking the photos, picking the photos, you know, uploading them into your computer, picking which ones you want to keep and work on. And it's just it's just a long process of culling and choosing, and then tedious little things like choosing like what color to use. Like, so I figured out what backgrounds I want for most of the edits that I'm working on right now, and I'm working on like 3 or 4 different ones currently. I just wanted to have a bunch ready because I haven't streamed in a little while. I had to leave leave state for a minute and go do some personal stuff, funeral, that kind of thing. So it was like, last week I just didn't have time or like the emotional bandwidth really for streaming. So we're here now. Oh, that's right. It's been a few minutes. Say hey to VOD Gang. Hi VOD Gang. Welcome. Of course this is going to go up on YouTube. Let's show you what I've been working on. So I've taken this one for this photo, put her on a rooftop in like a cyberpunk city setting. Really did it, like all these layers. You can see this, right? Yeah. Like you're seeing this on the screen, right? Yes. That's where I'm at so far. And then I've taken, I don't know if that's the background I want to keep. That's like the rough draft, right? So that's what I'm talking about by like, I want to see a rough draft, and then I will go and either take photos of buildings myself or take public domain images, which is a lot more likely, because it's hot where I live right now, and we don't really have a lot of cool, tall, I mean, we have skyscrapers, but not like cool looking ones like they have in like Japan or, you know, like Beijing or something like that. So I'll take some public domain images. I'll probably mix and morph and composite them together and eventually come up with a realistic looking background. And I'll also find, it's probably pretty easy to find rooftop. I also have a lot of rooftops saved, and I've gone out and taken photos of rooftops. So really, the AI for me, it's just like I get to sit here and look at it and be like, okay, so this image is fully AI made, but it came from a concept that I wrote into words with my right, and with descriptive writing, right? And this is like basically what I was trying to see. I get a sort of what I'm trying to see. It's not perfect, right? AI gets everything wrong. There's nothing symmetrical about these windows and things like that. I wouldn't use this in a finished thing. I don't want to. But like now I know kind of what I want to go for and kind of what it's going to look like and where I should like do lighting and things like that. Like it's really helpful for, I don't know, it kind of takes out, like I still have all the work to do, you know, to make my own background and things like that, but it takes a lot of the, I don't know, I guess the thinking out of it. I had to think of the descriptive paragraph in order to get the image, and then that's it. Now I can look at it and go, okay, I do want to get a pink and blue sky. Okay, I do want light from this side. I want it to hit the subject like this. I want the city to have this kind of a vibe and this ethereal kind of a color story going on with the pink and the blue and the red. It's cyberpunk, it's synthwave, it's Spider-Man, you know? So that's where we're at. If that makes any sense. Does that make any sense? So yeah, I'm saying so and yeah a lot today because I'm tired. And I have a photo shoot later in a few hours, so I won't be able to stream like all night, but a few hours I'll be here. So that's that one. And I did something with this one, similar thing, AI prompt for now, and then I'll figure out what I want to do for sure. But it'll look like that. Like I don't know how to I think I described it pretty well. Like I'm taking what I want to see, putting it into Adobe Firefly, and it's giving me like a rough draft. And you'll notice I don't do anything with characters or faces or creatures or anything. I'm just looking for a background. I'm just looking for basically what I want to see behind this character. And I described like, I think actually I saved my descriptions on a notepad so I could refer to them, but like 4K, hyper-real, synthwave style, city, you know, like pink, blue, red, white, that like those kinds of color, like all those, you know. And that roughly gives me an idea of kind of what I want to see. And then I just kind of zhuzhed it up. I zhuzhed it a lot. I added a lot of layers, a lot of zhuzhing. I painted over her a bit too. I really like to pump up the highlight and color in the suit. That just makes me happy. It just looks nice, right? I don't know. And then I did this one with this another kind of synthwave kind of a city. This one's almost good enough to just use, but I don't want to just use the AI because that's sort of cheating. So I still want to do my own thing and then add, you know, make my own backgrounds and stuff. That's part of the fun. I did paint these little squiggles for Spidey Sense, just to see what it looked like. That's one of my questions. Should I have that in this one? I don't know, it feels kind of right. It's a close-up, she's looking over her shoulder, like, ooh, I sensed something, you know? I don't know. I thought it was cute. I can always change them, I can just make them straight lines, I don't know. I was thinking like jagged kind of, I tried like lightning bolt kind of jaggedness at first, and I don't know, it looked too, kind of wild. I like the squigglies. I've seen it, I googled it and I've seen it done a million different ways. There's, you know, so many different interpretations of the spider sense squiggles, but I kind of did those. I might change them. I don't know, worked on that one. And then these are the ones I have questions on. I went with a different kind of like instead of a city background, I put like an abstract neon webbing. I've gotten kind of prolific at doing neon stuff because I started with lightsabers and then just figured out, and 80s, one of my friends hired me to do 80s holiday stuff, and I had to figure out how to do laser overlays and stuff, make my own PNGs, things like that. Vectors, you call them? I don't know, I call them PNGs. So I'm not trying to brag, I'm just saying. I wanted to make neon spiderwebs because Synthwave, Spider-Man. And I haven't messed with the lighting or changed it or anything like that. I haven't color matched the character to the background. Well, have I? Yeah. Okay, maybe a little bit I've changed the color of the character. But I still want to do a bunch of like light effect overlays and things like that, and I haven't. So that's, I don't know. My question is that cool? I don't know. I'm hung up on it. I've been hung up on it for like a week. Is the abstract web background interesting enough? Should I add more to it? Because the first Spider-Man I did like a punk. It was a Spider-Punk from SDCC last year, 2022. And I shot him during the Marvel cosplay competition that my friend was in. My friend was Wolverine. And he did a fantastic job. But the Spider-Punk also looked wonderful. It's one of the best ones I've ever seen. There's a local cosplayer who also does a Spider-Punk that is impeccable and just fantastic. Like the quality of everything. But the Spider-Punk, I edited it. It's on my website. I could show you, but I don't want to click away from this. I don't want to get distracted too much. But I added a bunch. I made the background look really like graffiti. Like just a wall of graffiti, and I kind of hid a Spider-Man symbol in there. The one that's Miles Morales's. That's like all spray painty and drippy looking. I hid that symbol in there. It was cool. And I'm wondering if I should just add more and make it noisier. Maybe that's the problem. Maybe there's just not enough going on back there for me. That could be. I'm just trying to figure out what the problem is. If it just sucks or if it needs more stuff. Now this one I used AI for, you can tell. It's like got the weird lines and stuff. But I typed in neon like I made one myself. And then I typed in neon spiderweb 4K hyperreal, all the keywords and stuff. And it started giving me some, I don't know, interesting things, but I had to like really zoom in to get an interesting angle on it. So there's that one, which I kind of like that one. And then this one I'm not sure of whether to put her in a cyberpunk city setting or put the abstract webbing behind her. So I'm just hung up on it. You want to see some ones I'm not hung up on though? I'll show you. Oh, before that, I put those city ones into Lightroom just to tweak them, just to see what would happen. Did I tweak them? Yes, I believe I did. Let me show you. Let me take a drink of this before it goes flat. So, it's mildly different from the finished product, right? Take a close look at the coloration, definition, contrast, saturation, that kind of stuff. Threw it back into Lightroom. I always start with, processing, culling, doing that kind of stuff in Lightroom, and then I'll do basic cropping and color correction, and then I'll do all the hard work in Photoshop, and then when I kick it back over to Lightroom, I take all these presets that I've made over the years, essentially, just like different tweaks that I've done to different photos and stuff, and I save them, because why not? It makes it easier than doing it every single time when I can just do it in one click. So I've just essentially spent a lot of time going through and seeing which ones, I liked best, which ones made it pop most, did a little more color tweaking, saturation tweaking, put a matte on it, just to like matte down the shadows and stuff, which means I don't have to work as hard to create the shadows in Photoshop, but I still do anyway. And this one might be overkill. Again, this is a rough draft, like I'm probably going to change that background dramatically. I've just been kind of hung up on the Spider-Man 2099 stuff for some reason. I don't know. Probably because they're not wearing a mask, and I just gotta make... Skin always throws me off. I mean, I can edit skin onto any background. It's just with a cosplay, which such bold and bright colors, I have to be very careful with what skin is showing. That's why I tend to gravitate towards cosplayers that are fully submerged in cosplay, or have something that's not going to be super weird to, edit, I suppose. Anyway, some that I'm not hung up on, some that I'm actually really quite happy with. Let me show you. You want to see? Want to see? Is that too loud? Let me turn it down a little bit. Okay, so kind of excited for this one and the other one that I'm going to show you. So I did this Good Omens. I started with the original, obviously. These guys are pretty much perfect. He even has the contacts in. But I did zhuzh up the eyes a little bit. Kind of made them a little shiny. Oh, I love the snake ring. Just noticed that. And I think I successfully took that tag away. Let's see. So I started with a background. Created, you know, separately. I've talked about that before. If you're new and I haven't talked about that, or you haven't heard about that, my new computer can surely handle whatever I throw at it now, but I'm stuck in this, well, I'm not stuck, it's just a good thing to do. I've gotten into a habit of, instead of crashing, my old computer would crash the moment my Photoshop files got more than a gig or two in size, and they'll do that pretty quickly when you have 15, 20 layers going on. And so I learned to do my subject and my background separately instead of all together and having like 50 layers going on, and a lot to lose track of and label and so on and so forth. So this background's probably 4 or 5 different layers and images stacked together. The only AI in it is clouds. There's some public domain images, and there's like one AI image that I incorporated into it, and then the rest is just, so there's probably like 10 layers in there. Not sure if I streamed that background. Well, one day we'll do like just background stream, and we'll just create backgrounds for a few hours, and you'll see exactly what I'm talking about. But it's all composite. It's just mixing, layering, putting this there, you know. And then I color corrected the guys to it. So what I did here was I took the subject off the original background, right? Obviously. And copy pasted that to a new layer. And what I did with that is there's a new thing, well, it's not really new, but it's the neural filters gallery. I'll just show you. There's this thing called harmonization here. I guess it's still in beta, according to this. But what you can do is select the background that you're gonna, you know, be using, and I guess the AI in it will do its best to color match your subject to it, so you don't have to fiddle with a bunch of layers and masks and things like that to change the color balance and hue and saturation and stuff like that. It's really nice. I've already done it here, so I'm not going to do it again and mess it up. But I do something a little extra because it doesn't quite do it for me. Maybe I just see differently. But I'll take, before I run it through that neural filter thing, I will take it and make a copy of it. So, you know, it looks exactly like the original background. Cut that out, make a copy of it. They both look like that. Take the top one, do the neural filter, and then it comes out looking like that, right, to match that cool tone background. And then I'll take that original extra spare copy that I have, bring it up here, and make some kind of overlay, like overlay it. So for example, I have it on a soft light at full opacity and fill. Sometimes that'll change depending upon what I'm doing. But I think it looks fine now. Like it's got a little bit of that cool tone and a little bit of that warm tone, which they should have, because, you know, we got the light blue side and the fiery red side. And then we are way too close to his face. Let's back up. I started futzing with the light, which it's so subtle, but I do so many different layers of light and stuff. And these layers are essentially light PNGs. They're very transparent, very lightly painted, and usually only using like gray and white, and meshed over a transparent PNG kind of a background, so that I can later, and it's huge, like these are as big as I can be. So they're like on a 11 by 17 artboard or something like that with, you know, the highest 300 PPI or whatever. And I can just take them and overlay them over. I use them over and over and over, and I've had the same ones for years, and I haven't really made a new one in a long time because I've made so many. And you can also download stuff like this. Like, people who make this stuff, like me or other people, we tend to upload it for free use, or you can purchase it, things like that. I've bought a few in the past, many years ago, before I went to school and learned how to do it. To try to figure out how to do it on my own. I could never figure out how to do it. I was never good at figuring it out on my own. I only went to school to learn, you know, how to do this stuff. Photoshop. I like having the routine of school. Okay, so here's a few more light layers that I added just to change things. And then I started to free paint. So this layer is just an overlay. Grab white, a paintbrush. Whoop, hello, thank you. I know what color I want. Grab a paintbrush, check your opacity. I keep it pretty low, and then I just like layer, because it's easier to add than it is to take away. And this is already done, but it could probably use a little more brightening. Why not? And I just did this to brighten up the highlights in their wings, because it just makes it pop a little bit more, right? And if anything, we want it to pop. I want it to look like the light's really behind them, the sky's really there. I don't know if my work is good enough to go on a, you know, HBO show cover, but I'm also not trying to do that kind of work. I'm just putting cosplayers into a fantastical situation where their characters, you know, would maybe be found. It's all subjective to, like, sometimes cosplayers will tell me, like, oh, could you do this? Could you do that? And it's like, oh, yeah, I'll try. But it's really whatever I can pull off. It's all, just kind of leave it up to the artist, you know? I don't consider myself an artist, but I guess technically this is art. Alright, so now, at this layer, I didn't know what I wanted to do with his eyes to pump him up. So I looked it up. I've also watched the show. I'm a big fan of Good Omens. And I know he's got very vibrant eyes when he's upset. Or, well, anytime. He's got very vibrant eyes. But the slits also are like, they go lid to lid. And, like, you don't see the point of the slits of the middle of the eyes on Crowley. And so I found a little overlay of slitted eyes and put it over. I'm pretty happy with it. It just kind of closes the slit a little, because Crowley has very narrow slits. Not super narrow, but like more narrow than these contacts. So I just kind of zhuzhed it up a little bit. Still looks like the contacts. Brighten them up a little bit, brighten the eyes. Added a little, what am I blanking on? That word. What's the word? Damn it. Catchlight? Catchlight. Good lord. Catchlight in the eyes. Add a little catchlight. And then that final layer looks like it's just an overall lighting layer. So you tell me, I don't know. Do those eyes look weird? Maybe I can make them thinner. Like, more translucent. I mean, I already have them pretty translucent, let's say. You start to see the wide slit underneath. I don't want it to get too transparent, if that makes sense. See what I'm talking about? Whoa, it disappears. I don't want it to look too cartoony though either. But that's also kind of the point. I think that looks cool. It's just enough. And I also did I blue his eye? Yeah, I blued his eyes a little bit, and it looks like I whitened his teeth as well. Yeah. So that's that one. Oh, and so if I finished it here like this, and I got to a point where I was particularly happy, which would be this, I also got rid of that Amazon thing, didn't I? Sure did. Was there something here? Oh, that's a pin he's wearing. Alright, that's fine. That's all fine and good. So, if I was happy with it, whoops, I would have brought it into here. Good lord, where is it? Here. And I would have tweaked it a little bit. I sure did. Okay. Looks like I added a preset here. Touch of drama. See how they change it up? Just kind of change the vibe a little bit. All these different things that I've collected over time. I don't know what comes with Lightroom anymore. I think there's like some basic stuff. I think these come with Lightroom, but all these weird ones that I've named and organized myself. Oh, I got a whole set for when I do blacklight photography. Oh yeah. I haven't used those in a while. That's a thing I do, though. People should hire me for it. If you ever want to get crazy and creative, let's do a blacklight photo shoot. Oh my god, I have these really cool high-powered blacklights that are like full LED, fully safe to use. They don't get hot or nothing. And because if you're old like me, you remember the old blacklight bulbs? They get hot. That's no fun. These LEDs are brighter and they don't get hot, and they're great. And I have 2 big LED bars that I bought for a blacklight party years ago, and then I figured out a friend of mine who does drag did blacklight makeup and blacklight hair dye in their hair, and was like, "Hey, do you have those blacklights? Want to take a picture, see how this looks?" And I was like, "Yes, let's see how that looks." Yes, that sounds interesting. And then I did a whole blacklight series, and I freaking loved it. And I would like to continue it, but you know, a lot of people are like a little intimidated by it, I think. So anyway, back to this. After the presets that I did, I think this is where I've landed. I think I'm fairly happy with it. All the edges are nice and clean, the wings are nice and bright, that kind of thing. I think it's good. And I guess I could sneak you a peek of this. I don't want to show you too much right away, but... Oh, hey, thanks, Ray. Looks good, thank you. Thank you. How you doing? Glad to see you. I'll show you the poison ivies, and then I'll save. I have a Morpheus. Do you want to see the Morpheus or the poison ivy? Because I did 2 poison ivies and just one Morpheus. But I'm super hyped about the Morpheus because I just love Matrix. I wish I could see more Matrix cosplays. Let's see. I'll show you the poison ivy since they're finished and I have them pulled up here. So here's the background that I landed on for her. It's a mix of couple of AI elements, and like the top of it is AI and the bottom of it roughly is a couple of real photos. There's a couple of real PNGs thrown in here. So yeah, like I said before, big composite, big mix. And in the other one I actually added more to the layer, you'll see. Then we added her back, color corrected her to the background. Oh, here's a fun thing. I added red smoke. I was thinking of poison ivy in the goofy Uma Thurman's poison ivy in those goofy Batman movies. Poison ivy, she has when she blows a kiss, she has that red glittery smoke that comes out. And so I put that kind of around. It's not glittery, but I put kind of red wispy. I painted this in red wispy flames. I can show you how. I did a lot of this while I wasn't streaming last week because I was home recovering from travel. And I just wanted to try to get something done to talk about on stream. But I have a bunch of brush presets. Some I've made, some I've downloaded, some come with Photoshop. And to get this stringy, smoky effect, I typically have it set on a soft round pressure for everything because I'm mostly just doing, editing and edges and things like that. But when you want to create something like smoke, good God, I have I have paintbrush tips for you name it. I have ones that look like mandalas. I have ones that look like hair. Here's some of the ones that I actually use some of the hair ones to make smoke. Because they come out in such a perfectly little wisp. And you can do any color, and you can you get to treat it. They're basically stamps, I think, And you can create these from anything. I actually turned my logo into a paintbrush on Photoshop once just to learn how to do it. I couldn't show you the steps right now because I haven't made a brush preset in a while, but it's pretty self-explanatory. You can turn anything into a paintbrush. So I have lots of stuff. I have swirls, twirls, you know, star patterns, everything. And so I used probably a hair one to create this wispy, stringy kind of a smoke effect. And I added it to all the plants, which, oh, that's just the one here. Oh, there's a couple, okay. Let me click on the rest of the layers and show you. Yeah, there's that one, see? Yeah, I think it looks alright. Kind of fills in the mouth of it, kind of brings it out, you know, makes it feel a little more alive. And then I started messing with the light. I've learned that if you just leave it like that, she looks pasted on, right? Sort of, kind of. But once you start, now the lighting that looks like is coming from the background is affecting the subject, right? Her skin changed. The direction of the light and the entire image has shifted. That's crucial to me. I don't know. A little more light from the top here, just to kind of, like, you can see where it's coming in the background, where it's coming from, so you just add to it, just overlay it. And this is going over the subject instead of behind her, so it's helping blend her down to that background, if that makes any sense. And I just added a little shadow to that corner to kind of blend it down so it doesn't look so, you know, pasted, for lack of a better word. And that's that. And so if I was happy with her, I probably took her into Photoshop here, or Lightroom, my apologies. Here's that one. Here's what we started with, right? And here's what we have now. Matte starter. Looks like I put it just more mattified on it. Probably zhuzhed up the red a little bit. I didn't really have to touch her skin up much. I think I removed a few blemishes. I usually do like a full high, what's it called? Good lord, I haven't used it in a minute. Frequency separation. I use frequency separation to do skin, usually. But her skin's pretty good. I didn't have to. Let me show you the other one. The other Poison Ivy. And then I'll save Morpheus for next time. There's so much to do here. So much to do. And there's so many that I want to do. I just gotta, you know, continue making backgrounds and sourcing stuff. Just seeing if there's anything else. Oh yeah, I'm definitely gonna work on this one. Never had a good Palpatine. So I'm excited for that. Definitely want to make that look like, you know, lightning, dark, Sith, smoky, spooky. Got to do something with the Beetlejuice. I don't know, the pose is weird. It was actually not at Comic-Con. It was at a party at Park, P-A-R-Q. Some nightclub, some fancy pants nightclub in San Diego. And I went to take photos of this party, the Monsters Ball, I believe. It was Friday that week of the convention, and I saw this Beetlejuice, one of the best Beetlejuices I've ever seen, and he was in full, like, RP, voice, character, everything. He was interacting with like, he was perfect, and I was like, can I take some photos of you? And he was like, yeah, sure, and he was just, like, moving around real quick all night. He was everywhere, so it was hard to grab him, but he was goofy for this one, and then he just kind of, like, put his hand on the wall and did this for one. I was like, I like that. I gotta do something with that. I just don't know what. I've done Beetlejuice before. Beetlejuice, just one, a local one. So I kind of have an idea of what I would do. But I'm just not sure because of the hand on the wall. Maybe make it look like his hand's on his grave. Because I can cut him out entirely and, you know, fit him into a different sized frame altogether with a different background. That's the idea, right? And I'm sure there's a PNG out there of the Beetlejuice grave. I could snag that and stick it into my background as an element. So yeah, there's so much to do. Oh, Rocketeer is going to be one of the next ones I start working on. Here, this one, exactly, this pose. I think it's that one I want. Yeah, it's that pose, That's pretty damn sweet. I just gotta figure out Art Deco clouds. I'm thinking about Art Deco clouds right now. They're on the brain. Oh, and these Wolverines are done and uploaded. If you want to see the finished product and like look at them closely, they're on my Instagram, soon to be on my website once I get around to doing that. But here's the first one. I did a whole series of this one because it's a friend of mine, and I had him for a few extra minutes. Most of the time when I'm shooting cosplayers, I only get 1 or 2, maybe 3 photos of you if I'm lucky, because I don't want to take up too much of your time, and vice versa. So, but this guy's a buddy of mine. If you want to follow him, he's awesome. He goes by Fuzzy O'Toole on Instagram. And yeah, so we spent like maybe 5-10 minutes together taking some photos. And I turned them into these, the ones I chose to edit. These are on my Instagram right now. Big Click Energy 1, number 1. And then this was the grid post. Before and after. Before. And after. And if you're wondering what gear I used to shoot this stuff, this was shot, I think most of the time we were in San Diego, it was fairly overcast, which was lucky, because it gets hot and sunny. But it was overcast, and which is lovely. That's a perfect, natural softbox with the sun behind it, so you get that all-around lighting. And I could have used a speed light in addition to my big light, but I had an assistant with me this year, which was a blessing, and I had a huge Godox, studio light that's like, the size of a loaf of bread, like 15 pounds. So I had my assistant holding that. I usually have a big C-stand, but we're at con, and I don't want to mess around with a big C-stand and trip people up and that kind of thing. So I never would take that kind of a studio light with me anywhere like that normally. That's usually for just gigs where I'm gonna go do headshots real quick and come home, that kind of thing. Never conventions. I usually just take my little handheld speed light, which is more than enough. But this year I decided to take the big boy light, and I've learned it doesn't matter too much on armor. Armor's going to light up the same way regardless, but it does on skin. Studio light's it's a monolight, so it just looks better. It looks cleaner, it's nicer. But yeah, that's my Wolverine. And there's so much. See all these little white flags? That's all the ones I'm thinking about editing. Just not sure what to do with them. Definitely gotta do one of the Dude Vaders. Ooh, I'll tease you with the Morpheus, okay? Here's the before. And if you look up in this little window to the left, I'm not gonna show you the big version, but there's a little version. And we'll walk through it step by step next time I stream, and I'll show you everything I did. But yeah. I'm so freaking hyped. I never got to do a Matrix cosplay one before. I just big Matrix fan. Big. It's a masterpiece. So back to these poison ivies. Let me show you the other one. And while we're done here, so I'm just gonna close this out. Did I do anything to that? I don't think so. Did I change? No. I'm just gonna leave it. So the Spider-Mans I'm still working on, but these poison ivies and that Good Omens, I'm gonna call it a day. I'm happy with them. So here's the second poison ivy that I decided to edit. I think I took like 3 or 4 photos of her in total, mostly of the same 2 poses. I try to get because cosplayers know what they're doing typically, and I let them do what they do. Like I'll just stand there and say, "Hi, do you can I take your photo?" Make sure we're on board to take pictures, and then sometimes people will be like, "Okay, what do you want me to do?" And it's like, "Oh, what do you want to do? What's your character do?" You have some poses for your character usually. So usually just let them do what they do. And she was using her props, interacting with her cosplay, so that was perfect. And I was like, great, that's going to make a great background. So this again is a mix. Some of these are PNGs that I've added into the corners and stuff. Like this is a separate leaf. Some of these vines are painted in. This is a separate thing. And part of it's AI. So, like, yeah, big mix. And then we put her in, color corrected her down, and continue with the smoke theme on the plants. I like the little red smoke. Hand painted with the hair brushes in Photoshop that we just spoke about. Oh, okay, and now here starts the lighting. So we're blending. See how her skin changes? Yeah. It's subtle, but I like it. It makes a difference. Get my water ready. Alright. And then I threw in a little carnivorous plant in here for good measure. And I still might add a little something, but I think from this step I was probably happy enough to take it back into Lightroom and try some tweaking. Let me find her again. Where'd she go? There she is. So here's the before on her. Yeah, again, probably just a matte just to put in some shadow. But that's Poison Ivy. I should flag that, so lose it. Oh crap, that needs to be flagged too. So let's recap. It's going to be a short stream today because I got to get ready for a photo shoot tonight. It's only an hour, maybe an hour and a half, and it's, oh my god, I'm so happy. This photo shoot that I have to go do is like a block away from my house. I could walk, but I have gear to carry, so I don't want to get, you know, like, I don't live in a bad neighborhood or anything, but I am paranoid as hell with my gear. I don't like to, I like to take my car to a place, have my gear in the car, gear to place, back to car, back to home. Locked up tight. Super tight. So let's recap. What did I show you today? What did we look at? Oh, we started with the Spider-Man stuff. Yeah, I want to finish those. I'm just not sure what the heck I want to do with them. So the ones I've done, these are the rough draft. I definitely want to do the cities for this. I just got to create my own, right? This one might actually be good enough to just leave. Because I like the kind of animated, kind of drawn element of AI when it creates cities. Because I've messed around a lot with trying to create structures in AI. And I've also uploaded my own images into some AI engines. Because you can, right? And I've sacrificed some of my own work to help it learn. I'm excited about AI. I get that it's scary, and I'm 50-50 on the fence. I don't like that it's some of them, like DALL-E and Midjourney and things like that, have straight up stolen from artists. But the Adobe one, like, we had to consent to that. I've been using Adobe for a while, and I remember when we all had to sign up for that. At least I got an email. I don't know. I got something that said, hey, we're going to be trying this thing. Do you consent to your work being used in this thing? And I was like, yep. It's a part of the fine print and has been for a little while. So anyway, 50-50 on it. Like, I get that it's scary and that it's for certain kinds of art, it's definitely a problem. Like, for example, there was an artist at Comicon San Diego that was kicked out because they were selling. What's funny is they're an actual artist. Like, they make art the hard way, you know. Drawing, photography, sculpting, that kind of stuff. Yes, photography is art. Even I didn't think so for a long time, and then in college, my professor, who is a fine artist photographer, it's actually photography that I can't stand. I can't, like, it's beautiful, but I don't like it. I don't like doing it. Like, I'll go look at it in a museum, but I don't want to do it. I don't like it. I don't know. I can't stand it. But, so, yeah, like, photography is art, too. And what I do here is, like, just taking the photo of the cosplayer with my eye, that's step one, art has been done. Step two, I come home, and if I decide to edit them, then I have to do a bunch. And for years, and still today, I do this stuff from scratch. I've never used AI, you know? Like, I've been doing these edits for at least, gosh, almost a decade now. No, yes, almost. We're a few years shy of a decade for doing cosplay edits. Excuse me. And I just started dabbling with the AI thing late June, 2 months ago. So, recently. And I don't know, I'm not sure yet. And like I said earlier, I'm just using it as like a rough draft maker. I'm taking my thought, using descriptive writing, putting it down into an engine. That's Adobe Firefly. I'm using that one because so far it's the only one that's reasonably on the up and up. And I'm not using characters or building anything with humanoids or creatures. I'm just creating organic backgrounds, you know. And so taking that, using it as a rough draft to get an idea, basically to see my thought on paper or on the screen. And from there I can be like, alright, so now I'm going to go find some public domain images of a city, maybe plug in a couple of skyscrapers like this, I'm going to look for a platform like this, you know, I'm going to use this kind of paint and light, I'm going to probably use, you know, and this is showing me exactly how to build the background I want to build. And it's taking out a lot of extra guesswork steps, which is days of my time, right? So like hours and hours and days it takes to just source the shit to make a cohesive background that looks somewhat believable. And the more and more I've done this, the more complex my stuff's gotten. It used to just be a quick, great, like my Deadpool, for example, the first thing I ever edited, it was, the background is a red to black gradient, a blood splatter PNG, like, overlay thing, and the character that's been, you know, color corrected. That's it. It was the simplest. You could do it in 10 minutes if you're quick with Photoshop, that kind of thing. And now I'm, like, putting characters in cities, putting a Spider-Man on a side of a building, you know, making lightsabers look like they're glowing. I think I've done, like, a bullet coming out of a gun kind of a thing. Like, I'm trying to do all kinds of really, every time I edit something, I'm trying something new, and there's a new layer. I didn't always do light effects. I didn't always do, you know, make things look like they're glowing, make things look like they're blended right. It was rough in the early days, but I've gotten a little bit better now. But now it's so complicated. So now the stuff's more complicated. And what else did I show you today? Oh, I showed you Good Omens. Where'd that go? Floating around. I've been kind of choosing randomly what I'm working on here. We worked on this. I love it. I think it's great. Not to toot my own horn, I just love the characters. And I think I chose a pretty good elements for the background. I might add a little more flare off the wing just to like blend it more into the background, like make a little more of a light bouncing off of it. Same for over here, but I'm not sure. It might be enough as it is. Sometimes I tend to overdo it, which is really easy to do. I have a too much gene, like Jenna Marbles. May she rest in peace. What else did I show you? I think I showed you the poison ivies. And I'm saving the Morpheus for next time. So here's the poison ivies again. Fairly happy with that. It's cohesive. God, that Futurama thing, that Hulu Anime Ham was such a great installation. So much fun. That's that. That's where we're at. And I gotta do this one. Here's another friend of mine. I took a few extra shots of him. But I haven't felt any inspiration for that yet. I just have to look at them a bunch. I go through here and I just like, after I finish a few, I'll go through and look at them all again and be like, all right, who do I feel, who am I feeling? Sooner or later. I just gotta get an idea, because this one I definitely want to edit. It's such a cool thing, I just don't know how. It's very, I'm gonna keep it kind of punk rock and loud. I'm just not sure how yet, so gotta think about that. I want to do this. It's just a great shot of a great cosplay. Awesome. That's probably one of the best Batgirls I've ever seen. Oh Lord, and I have to do this. I have to do the pyramid. I caught him outside. I was about to put my camera away. I was like, whoa, sheesh. I've seen some pyramids over my, I've seen a lot of great ones, and I've never been in the right place at the right time to catch one that wasn't like on their way to do something busy, or like in the middle of taking their pyramid off to rest or something. And I don't ever want to make a cosplayer do anything they don't want to do. And if I see you eating, talking to other people, or taking a break, I don't even approach. So all the pyramid heads I've ever seen, I've usually seen in passing. I've never gotten a chance to even snag a quick photo. But I literally stood there with them for 30 seconds, took 2 photos for my friend. That's the Wolverine character there. He wanted to get choked out by the pyramid. And then I took 2 photos for myself. One tall and one wide, because I didn't want to take up his time. And there was a lot of people around. And I was on my way to dinner. So that's the one. That's the one we're working with. We better hope it's good. Better hope it's in focus. Looks great. I think it'll be fine. Everything looks nice and sharp. Looks like it'll be fairly easy to remove from the background. And I gotta do something with that. Oh man, I'm hyped. I love doing. I don't do a lot of horror stuff, but I love it. It's fun, and I'd like to do more of it. So this one will definitely. I'll re-release it for Halloween if I don't get it done by Halloween. I'm taking my time on these, Like, a lot of photographers try to push it all out real quick right after the convention, and that's great. And usually I'll put out the unedited photos, but I'm just taking my time. This is content. We might as well enjoy the ride. Do it one image at a time. And I'm also creating, like, it's like doing a painting at each, like, it's creating a piece. Each one I do is a separate piece of art, so it's a lot. It's kind of taxing. Get a little exhausting. I gotta take time off in the evenings. I play video games that I don't stream, which is weird. Like, I do my work on Twitch, and then I do my fun stuff in private. I mostly just ride around and play Red Dead and GTA. I'd love to do RP, but I don't have I work on a Mac. I work on a great Mac that could definitely handle some games. I think I have one of the strongest Macs that exists, but I've never gamed. I haven't gamed on a computer since I was in high school when I had a PC. That's the last time I had a PC. So that's what we did today, right? We looked at some stuff. And I'd like some feedback. Maybe I should just put up a poll or something. That's an idea. That's a good thing. That's a good way to get audience engagement. I don't only stream here. And I gotta try to find a different time to stream here, because the last few times I've streamed here, it's been slow viewers, very few chatters, that kind of thing. I am streaming in the middle of the day, before people are off work, out of school, whatever. So maybe an evening stream next time. I'm just usually like done by the evening. I'm just like, I want to not do anything, Maybe an evening stream next time. Or one of these days, perhaps a late night stream when I'm having a insomniatic episode. Perhaps. But that's it for now. Those are the things we went over today. I think I might just keep the cool abstract webbing for these. I'm not sure. Not sure. But that's that. That's where we're at. And I think I'm going to leave it there. It's already 3. I didn't stream very long. I'm sorry. I only streamed for like an hour. But I got to get ready for a photo shoot. It's not terribly far away, but I got to still prep all my gear, make sure everything's working properly so I don't run into any issues while at work, because that is so stressful. And I didn't before. We said hey to Von Gang before, but I didn't go over all the stuff. So let's go over all the stuff before I go. If you have Amazon Prime, you have a free Prime sub. Did you know that? Did you know? Did you know that you have a free Prime sub? Did you know? Did you know that? It's pretty cool. You can use that free Prime sub to sub to this channel or any Twitch streamer that you want. But I'd be super duper grateful if you used it to sub to me. I don't think I've actually had a sub yet. I have some followers, which I love each and every one of you, but I don't think I've actually had a sub yet. So if you have Amazon Prime and you feel like using that free sub, Prime it, baby. Let's go. Other than that, I appreciate all the likes, follows, subs, resubs, whatever, dubs, titties, bitties, all the things. Thank you. Thanks for tuning in. Ray's a fan. Thanks for stopping by and saying something in the chat. Appreciate you. I think I saw you go live the other night, but I was on my way to bed, and I was like, damn it. I need to get in there one of these nights and like say hey in your stream. Anywho, I'm gonna leave it there, y'all. I'm gonna leave it there. I'm gonna upload this straight to YouTube right away before I forget. So thanks for tuning in. Remember to follow, hit the little heart, and you'll be notified when I go live again. I'm on TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, here on Twitch, YouTube, if you missed this and you want to see it in its entirety again. And I am Big Click Energy in all of those places. So in Instagram, for example, is Big Click Energy 1, is the number 1 after it, that's it. But I am Big Click Energy in all of the things. I don't have a Twitter. I think I have a Twitter, but I don't use it. I don't even remember how to log into it, so don't bother with that, but I'm everywhere else. Go to bigclickphoto.com/links, LINKS, and you can find all the things. And you can actually leave me a tip if you want, because I'm a poor, starving artist. I really don't make a lot of money doing this. So yeah, leave a tip if you want. I appreciate that. Take care, and I will see you on the next one. I might stream tomorrow. We'll see. Maybe I'll be here. I don't know. I'll see you then, though. Later.